This is smilejos67. Welcome you back with Dax Isidoreth Hispalensis. And I've got a spot to read the mail. With the dent in the background. Impresario. Read that there, but I'll end up standing up anyway, won't I? Yes, so when I check the mail, it does work. Look this way. Actually, I want her in the back. Like that will do. Okay, let's go. We've got tons. Ooh, got a lot. Here we go. Pacrooti has heard of the Yokodan saints, or Ansi, who had mastered their sword technique so thoroughly that they could access abilities similar to a magus. Pacrooti imagines that his training in the way of Whispering Fang by similar mental and physical discipline, but Whispering Fang has never helped him fly. Pacrooti spent his last coins on an eel pie this morning and lacked the means to obtain a horse. The ferryman offered to take Pacrooti to your components. Instead, Pacrooti walks. He despises water unless it's in his mouth. Take attachments. The list of people Pacrooti would not trust with his top quality components as long as Pacrooti's tongue. Pacrooti wants you to know he refuses to do business with the finest bowcrafters in the land because he knows he will not have enough for you. Please continue to employ Pacrooti. He begs you. Ooh, pretty epic. That's nice. Problem is, you only about 2 levels and you want to replace it. Replace it. You have to get it all back. Yes. Dear friend, Pacrooti thinks that he is in trouble. He has known for some time that he owes a great debt to a man in town known as only as the Collector. There were strange men in Pacrooti's room at the Rusty Lady this afternoon. He believes they were working for this Collector, who has been known to exact physical pain on those who don't pay. Oh, Pacrooti, what? You've been stealing, because you steal some of the stuff, don't you? Pacrooti masters the way of the Whispering Fang and does not fear the Collector or his men, though he will not fight them if he does not have to. He does not want to have to hurt them. You see? The Pacrooti paid to ride on the back of a farmer's wagon today, covered in a blanket. Very hot. Oh, inventory full. Right, I have to get. Yeah, I can still check the mail. Pacrooti was cornered by the Collector's men today, and though they did not force him to unleash the Whispering Fang upon them, they did say they would give Pacrooti the chance to send his last shipment of components to you before Pacrooti would have to go with them. Hopes they reach you in a timely manner. What? Yes. What's that? Pacrooti finally met the Collector, who, to Pacrooti's astonished eyes, looked a lot like Pacrooti's custom. A Dalit. That's because he was Pacrooti's cousin. By the use of was, you mean he no longer is your cousin? Should that be is? Hadalit! All was forgiven and we clasped hands, though Hadalit insisted that I pay my debt. There is no debt between family, I told him. We fought in the street until he had all of my coin. Oh. Pacrooti thinks he is a fairly clever Khajiit, but not as clever as the enlightened ones above who created moon sugar in the Ten-Ma forest. He's pretty good at collecting components though, and hopes these are of use to you. To most Khajiits, moon sugar is a religious symbol, a tasty way to bring oneself closer to the gods. Pacrooti just likes moon. He's eating it all the time, the act of which is like a religion on itself for Pacrooti. Don't worry, he still places component collecting higher in his priority. Just dust these off, or You may attract flies. Oh. Pacrooti knows he is the epitome of component collectors, but he has heard a pair of Redguard brothers are in contention for the title. Pacrooti has heard they specialise in enchantment components, but he has the feeling that his unique methods of collection will allow him to succeed even in other fields. Pacrooti just has to find these brothers. Pacrooti won at a game of chance today against another Khajiit named Twice Lucky. She must not have been accustomed to losing, because she seemed twice furious. It did not seem to like when Pacrooti said that loud to her. He was trying to make conversation, but she started trying to turn Pacrooti into a rug with a knife. Depending on the moon's at time of birth, Khajiit of different standing and body. We Khajiit are open to our lot in life and act accordingly. Unlike the scheming men in Mir, Pacrooti is having a bad day, and Appearon and Altma skipped in line at the market, even though both knew Pacrooti was ahead of them. Oh dear. Pacrooti tracked a trio of Hargraven days, hoping they would lead him to their dwelling, where components are plenty utterly afraid. Pacrooti writes you now because they've stopped moving and are quiet. This one has heard silence from Hargraven means they're preparing to attack. Wonders who they will strike. There is no one else around. You dummy. Pacrooti was attacked by the trio of Hargravens that he was stalking. He hoped they would lead him to the dwelling so he could acquire any components lying within, but they must have leaned Pacrooti in the bushes. They pummeled Pacrooti with their fists and their magic. Pacrooti wields a whispering fang. They were not the ones to walk away. Ooh, you killed them. I hope. Good on you. That for. Oh, already got that one. Month ago. Pacrooti could not help himself and laughed. As a short Ultima dismounted the horse today, he challenged Pacrooti to it. So Pacrooti hid in the shadows and emerged a ways down the road an hour later and bet him senseless. Pacrooti did not kill him. He took a sword in recompense. It paid for these components and more. Stay away from Skull, my friend. Though it's popular among some Khajiit, today Pacrooti's cleaned a Redguard male, one of the great component hunters of the region, one of the scimitars of Al-Babnab, under the influence of the substance. Though not from sickness, and his bloodied eyes darted from side to side. Pacrooti, survives. Pacrooti would like to know he works hard for you on a daily. Pacrooti would like you to know he works hard for you on a daily basis. Just today, he carried an entire shipment of components from Old Man Rickler's house to the here. Pacrooti saved a lot of time. Found all the components at Old Man Rickler's house. Are you stealing again? Pacrooti thanked the Bard for a song today, but the Bard didn't hear. Or didn't care to respond. Pacrooti stayed to find out, in case others thanked the Bard. None did. When the Bard left the tavern, presumably to another venue, Pacrooti followed. After a while the Bard broke into a run, and Pacrooti did not bother chasing. Bards are odd. Oh, he probably thought he was up to no good. Like stealing components from him. I heard a bang. The dark anchor going off. There are many hooligans in places where Pacrooti eats. Other establishments won't serve him. As a result, Pacrooti is often most esteemed, a component hunter amongst hardened criminals. Pacrooti eats quickly so he can write this letter. Customers will leave soon with components that Pacrooti must take to give to you. Customers will leave with. Oh, you going to pinch them before I disappear? Go out the door? Is that the plan? Pacrooti dislikes dealing with the undead. They are like animals, natural predators of the living, despicable and opposite to the breathing world in every way. However, most undead were once living, and therefore resting places make plentiful repository for components. I don't mind that you pitch from the dead. The ring is a legendary artifact of the Khajiit, rumored to make wearer impeccable in ways of undetectable movement. Many say they would use it to change the course of the war, take vengeance on their enemies. Like all Khajiit, he would embark on a burglary. Yeah, figured. One day, Pacrooti will discover the secret to crossing the river without getting wet. But it is not this day. Pacrooti even paid the ferryman double fare for a ride. Pacrooti hopes you enjoy your components. They, fortunately, are in a pack and therefore dry. Not so for Pacrooti. He fell off the boat. I can tell you the secret of crossing the river without getting wet. Use the bridge. Pacrooti has always wondered how much imagination symbolizes the practice of the art and life. Pacrooti is a master of bang and its techniques. Fine mist make its way into everything Pacrooti does. Pacrooti forgoes stairs, for instance, when he could climb a tree instead. They just fly when faced with this. Guess the mountain falling off the side. Sliding down cliffs. Pacrooti does not know if he'll ever find true love outside of him. Pacrooti tries to be careful to skills, but please remember to dust your components before using them. Apologies. And how many we got? Let's go. Let's be my bookmark. There is nothing Pacrooti can do about not knowing how to swim. He refuses to get into the water and never learn. There may be worse things than being submerged head to toe in water. Pacrooti does not know what they may be. Perhaps a plane of oblivion. Enjoy these components with Pacrooti nearly drowned to the river. Hickory. When Pacrooti wants to, he can make himself very hidden, but he does so through dint of cunning and tremendous flexibility. The moon knows what Pacrooti has done to hide from the town guards, but what do mages care for hard work and sweating? Nothing. Word they accomplish the same thing. Now Pacrooti must pickpocket some more components. Thief! Pacrooti thinks you are the best employee he has ever had. You never have a prerogative word to say against Pacrooti. He truly appreciates that. Actually, one of the reasons that you don't hear any bad words from me to you, even though it's often called thief, is because one-way conversation. I don't mail to you. Pacrooti does not know when the shipment will reach you, but he hopes to find the components well. For once in his life, Pacrooti chased a brigand instead of the other way around, firebrand in hand. Pacrooti terrorized it. All the times his brigand sisters terrorized Pacrooti. Ran off a cliff and became the components you hold. Hey! So if it's drop ticket, Mandium and pitch. Oh, I see a cake in the background. Another Elkmere. Tennessee. Last one. Pacrooti has no patience with those who would turn travellers away on a torrential night like tonight. This one has allowed 3 Breton mercenaries to stay in Pacrooti's room until morning. Pacrooti will send you components with this letter if there are any in their packs or pants. So this is what you got from those Breton guests of yours. Stealing from your guests. That's just not on. That's not the way you do business and be pleasant. Let's just gotta stop a whole bunch more. Okay, anyway, so that will do for this one. Getting close to 50 minutes long, so this is smilejos67 signing off. Dax Isidoreth Hispalensis. Be well.